Jordan. Rob, what do you think? Would LeBron be good at running a team in the ownership role?
Yeah, LeBron has done a lot of things, off the court and had a lot of success. I'm not so sure. Sometimes when you're like a great player, I think everybody automatically assumes you're going to be able to master the business that you played in. So I'm not positive, because you could look at Michael Jordan, who was a great player, but was he a great evaluator of talent when he was a GM? Before he even had ownership and when he was in Washington. So, no, I don't think that LeBron is. LeBron right now is the worst GM in the NBA, because if you go back to Cleveland, you look – Greg, come on, Greg. Look at Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, some of those bad deals that he worked the Cleveland people into. So I'm not convinced LeBron's going to be this great owner. I think if he maybe gets some help. Because think about this. There's only been four, Chris, former players who have won a championship as a player and as an executive in a GM role in NBA history. So it's very hard. It doesn't happen that often. So I'm not so sure that LeBron will be able to even be better than Michael in the situation of being an owner and maybe winning a championship.
It's not surprising he said this. I mean, we've known for years that he wants to eventually own an NBA team, and he's even said in the past maybe an NFL team as well. I actually think this is just pure speculation, not from anybody telling me. I think there may be a wink-wink deal between him and Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cavaliers, when, they talked and LeBron agreed to go back to Cleveland. And I really think the Cavs are probably the #1 team that I'd rank as far as chances of him owning them. As far as whether he'd be good, first of all, I think it'd be great because he's an African-American. We need more racial minorities owning teams. We got Michael Jordan. In the NBA, I know they always get high ranks for diversity and all that, but as you go up in the front offices, it's not as diverse as it should be.
Or the way it used to be. It used to be more diverse. It's worse now.
It's gotten worse with the analytics and people focusing on that and using that as an excuse not to hire ex-players and stuff. So I think that would be great. It shouldn't just take a minority owner to hire more minorities who are qualified. However, having another one I think would be great. Look, with LeBron's businesses, LeBron is obviously a smart guy, but he doesn't know about all these different businesses he has going on, but he hires the right people to run them, and they're doing well. So I think you can say he would do that, but obviously he's a basketball guy, so he may want to be a meddling owner. And I do tend to agree, Rob. I mean, as we know he knows the game. We know he's one of the smartest players we've seen. But I don't think he's been the best at trying to put together teams. I mean, he did have a say in let's go get some defenders and some grinders and some playmakers. And, we can't outshoot Golden State, so let's not really worry about that. So
and then what did people say right away?
Go get
no three-point shooters. Right. And that's the first thing people say.
But look, there's nothing wrong with being a meddling owner. That's the benefit of being an owner. Mark Cuban's a meddling owner. Jerry Jones a meddling owner. So if he's one of those guys that's really into it and he's the face of the franchise, there's no problem with that.
I definitely think he would be successful. I think it's great. I love that he came out and said, absolutely. There's no question. It's not even a question. And I don't think anyone doubted that this was even something that was on his radar with everything else that he's doing. But we talk about him configuring teams. The teams that he configured, it's because he's on the team. Like, this wouldn't be him being on the team, so the personnel would look different. You talk about the Tristan Thompson deals and all that.
J.R. Smith. Bad deals.
Did he go to the table and say this is what
he wanted those guys signed? Chris, you know this.
He wanted them signed.
He wanted them signed.
He wanted them signed. Did he make their numbers up in the year contract? Did he draw up their contracts?
You're trying to say that he had nothing to say?
Did he? No, he didn't.
I don't think he went to ownership and was like,
no.
Look, they understood they had the same agent as LeBron.
Thank you.
But I don't think he set out a number.
I'm not saying with the numbers, Greg, but somebody Chris just talked about it. Look at some of the teams when they made the trades last year. Oh, LeBron's restocked and energized. He got all the players he wants. When they brought in Dwayne Wade to come in, last year from Miami.
He wants Melo now.
He wanted, right, he wants Melo.
Chris Paul, Dwayne,
this is what we're talking about.
I understand all
These
of that.
These are bad moves.
This would be him being removed from playing and then making personnel decisions or meddling, as you put it. I think he would be good at that. And stop. We immediately, the first thing you did was what? Compare him to Michael Jordan.
Well, only
That's the first thing you did.
Because,
now,
Greg, great players oftentimes, like trying to be coaches, they don't seem that they can be a great coach after being a great player. Very few. I'm not saying it's never happened, but very few great players make great coaches. And the same thing. You can look at Michael Jordan and say, wait a minute, didn't you draft Kwame Brown and some of the draft choices? This is Michael Jordan. Who's the other shooter? Adam Morrison.
Adam Morrison.
He drafted Adam Morrison. Oh, he's going to be the next Larry Bird. These are the goofs and bad picks that Michael Jordan is one of the greatest players. So just because you're great doesn't mean I can identify somebody who's great.
I understand all of that.
That's all I'm saying.
I understand all of that, but those were Michael Jordan decisions. Those were
I'm saying from looking at what LeBron has done to this point, I'm saying...
What you mean the 3 titles that he's been able to win?
No, the 6 that he's lost.
Well, hold on.
That?
And he's been there 9 times?
I will say this, and I pointed out some of his bad decisions. He had a hand in putting together that Miami team, too. That won 2 championships.
That lost.
He did sit down and then he went out and got these veteran shooters around him. So they won 2 championships.
Should they have won? He said they were going to win 8. Not 2, not 3,
but 2
not
isn't
4,
bad.
not 5, not 6. Do you remember that tape?
I do.
Do you remember that moment?
I do.
And they won 2 out of 4, and they were one lucky Ray Allen 3 away from being 1-3 in that
they won.
year.
They won. That's all that matters.
That's the problem. Like because he is LeBron James, and because he
comes with the territory.
It comes with the territory, and our expectation immediately goes completely up. If this were some random player that was on the bench that didn't get a lot of time and he was able to move up the ranks and own the team, we wouldn't even be putting this pressure on him.
You're being disingenuous from this point. LeBron didn't take that mic and go not 2, not 3, not 4 because he didn't believe it. He believed when he put together that super team that nobody would be able to beat them.
I agree with that.
There's no doubt about it. So when you do that and you raise the expectations, 3 guys, all young, all in their primes, all coming together to form a team, there's no way that people didn't think that they were going to win every year. That's all.
Owning a team, he's not that dumb to believe that, oh, if I own a team, we're not going to ever lose. I'm going to put together a roster that we're going to be in the finals every year. We're going to be competitive every single year. He's going to have growing pains like everyone else until he gets it right and put pieces in place that can make those decisions to where the personnel is what's needed and effective.
He would be better than many of the owners in the NBA and NFL right away because there's a lot of bad owners out there. The interesting thing would be, to me, does his mentality, how does it change, if at all? Because right now, he's very pro-player. He's vice president of the Players Association. He's all about player movement and players having just as much power in their destiny as, you know, the owners and the GMs and all that, and getting as much money as you can. When you become an owner, I mean, this is capitalism. It's a whole different thing. Would your mentality shift more? Because now you see the other side of it as an owner. So if he had a player like himself who wants to get involved and do all these things, would he be with that? That would be really interesting.
Here's the other bad part. He can't get anybody to come play with him now. So imagine once he owns a team, he won't be able to get anybody to come play for us.
Rob, you crossed the line.
Crickets.
Crossed the line. If I'm LeBron, I'm going to retire, go buy a vineyard, put in a basketball court.
You wouldn't want to own a team?
It's like stress. It's more work. He's made enough money.
He'll be a
young man, but he's got a beautiful family. Like, I'm living out my days on the vineyard, sipping some wine. I'll put up some shots when I feel like it. That's what I'm doing.
Here's the thing, though. You can be that type of owner.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, actually, that might be better.
I don't see him being that type of owner, though.
Hire the right people and